We have a report from you guys about petroleum waxes being applied to vegetables. Information you're going to need to know out there. We also have a chemical explosion in Bridgeport, Connecticut. I think it's really important for us to not only see what's going on there, but to see the government's reaction. Should you really trust the government in an emergency situation? You judge for yourself. South Africa is reporting Israel to The Hague for genocide. This is going to definitely shake some things up out there. We have reports from you guys about health laws that sound just a tad bit draconian, and more medication shortages, and lots more reports come from you guys from all over the place. Let's jump into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade, and we cover your reports of what you're hearing out there. And appreciate all of you who send those reports in. Just send a comment on any video on this channel. Use the word update somewhere in there, and that will get it to the right place. We do want to thank our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group. If you have retirement accounts that you want to see what options you have, you might want to talk to Jonathan and his team. There'll be a link at the end of the video. All right, so Bridgeport, Connecticut, we have a major explosion and chemical release at a Standard Oil facility, which is in a kind of semi-rural area, semi-residential area. Some of the shots and stuff like that, you can see houses, and you can see that it's not that far away. We're hearing from the director of health. They told people living near to shelter in place and, quote, close all the windows and the vents to make sure that the air doesn't get in. Advises wearing a mask for the next few days. Airtight houses, masks to filter out chemicals. Seriously? What planet do these people live on? I mean, do they really think that your house is a spaceship? I can stay in my house for days and days with the vents and the windows closed, and yet somehow I don't suffocate. Air still gets in, right? And the information that they provide you is made more to make you feel good and make you feel like you're doing something. It is very concerning, the dumbing down of our society, that's for sure. South Africa has filed a case at The Hague, which is the International Court of Justice. Next step now will be whether the International Court of Justice accepts the petition from South Africa to open a case against Israel for breaching the Geneva Convention and committing genocide. That obviously Israel is very unhappy with this accusation coming from South Africa, of all countries. But it is definitely a serious accusation, and one that will be taken seriously. A lot of people have talked about this. A lot of countries have talked about submitting a genocide accusation against Israel, but South Africa is the first to actually do so. We'll also see how the International Court responds to that. This is from a user named Grandma. Northwest Arkansas. Went to Dollar Tree today to pick up some medicine for the family for winter. Was completely out. Not one. It was the same as 2 weeks ago, so I talked to the store manager. She told me that the store hasn't gotten any in 2 months. She said that it was the same with all the Dollar Trees in the area. And I'm hearing from a lot of you guys that that's in the Dollar Trees in general all over the place. If you're looking for basic over-the-counter medications, you're probably going to have better luck at Walmart. Walmart and Amazon also has basic medications too. If you buy things in bulk like aspirin, ibuprofen, that type of stuff, if you get the generic version, Walmart has the Equate brand, and that's a good, decent quality generic version of a bunch of things. You can get bandages, and you can get a lot of stuff from them on that. So that might be a better place to go if you can't get at Dollar Tree. This is a report from DeLorean, northern suburb of Dallas. Grains shortage. Went to Tractor Supply as a last resort for chicken feed. Chicken feed section was bombed out and depleted, even at Tractor Supply. The straw we use as winter bedding was poor quality and dirty. Aldi's, they have one aisle dedicated to specialty items. It was basically non-existent. White bread had about 3 to 4 loaves left. Wheat was almost as bad. Meat was picked over. Milk was almost gone. Eggs in short supply. No pop. soda for me, but none of that. It was MIA. Paper towels. A lot of spices were missing. Went to Kroger's. They had plenty of water. Store was well stocked, but the produce section was tiny. Sushi, beer, and bakery sections had eaten up a lot of the produce real estate. Kind of makes you wonder. This is from Craystall, South Central Wisconsin. Walgreens didn't have enough of the antibiotic needed to fill my prescription yesterday. Said they would call me back when they were able to fill my prescription. And I'm hearing more and more stories, particularly about antibiotics and pain medications. That's what I'm hearing the most of out there. But we are hearing spotty outages of insulin and the inhalers and stuff like that. We're hearing spotty outages on those things, but definitely on antibiotics, and we're hearing about pain medications. You might want to reach out to Jace Medical and see what they can do for you. I don't know if they can help you out on the pain meds. I imagine they probably can't, but for the things that aren't like abused and stuff like that, or the specialty medications, those might be something that they can help you out with. Jace Medical, highly recommend. They're good folks over there. And the prices are actually quite good. You do have to pay out of your pocket. You can't use insurance, but the prices are actually quite comparable to other things. Viewer says, the federal government is cracking down. We won't be able to treat our infected aquariums soon. Talking about the fish antibiotics. They just sent a letter to Chewy, which is an online seller of medications for pets and stuff like that, and pet food, forcing them to stop selling. So they sent a letter to Chewy forcing them to stop selling fish antibiotics. Not sure how to get a prescription in order to treat your aquarium. Can't load it up and haul it out to the vet. So how do you get a vet to write you a prescription for your fish? You got me. But they certainly don't want you getting those anymore. So they are cracking down on these online retailers. Last I heard, you can still kind of get them from some people. But like I said, it's extra cheaper to get them through Jace. But this is from Rose. New York Rule 2.13. Unbelievable. Whenever appropriate, control. This is a quote from the text. Whenever appropriate to control the spread of a highly contagious communicable disease, the State Commissioner of Health may issue and may direct the local health authority to issue isolation or quarantine orders consistent with due process of law to all such persons as the State Commissioner of Health. This is New York State, and basically they just took all the craziness from the cough cough and basically just made it institutionalized and made it the law. So now the State Commissioner of Health basically can do whatever the heck they want, and as long as it's consistent with the due process of law. But of course we found that what they were doing was absolutely not consistent with the due process of law. They were just making up law and doing whatever they wanted to do. And that's the situation we're in again. And if we have any opportunity for them to step out of line again, to declare anything a health emergency, like, boomsticks, that's what they're trying to do with that. They're trying to declare climate change as a health emergency as well, so they can use those emergency powers. What is a health emergency? Well, if you have enough of imagination, it could be basically anything. And that's one of the concerns we have out there, is that getting tyrannical powers, which are basically triggered by just somebody's opinion. That's really scary. Pam says, in Canada, we heat with oil, gas, wood, and hydro. The lack of water should have nothing to do with heat sources. The only power outages I'm hearing are due to ice and wind. Odd how I have to go to YouTube to know that British Columbia has power issues. So a common misconception is that, everybody uses these type of heat sources, oil and gas and wood, but actually 31% of the households in Canada heat with electricity. Now it is most common in Newfoundland, and and Labrador and Quebec. So in those areas, it's a higher proportion. So some areas, higher proportion of wood and everything like that. But 31% of Canadian households use electricity for heat. So power outages across Canada definitely will impact people's ability to heat. And that's not even counting the number of people that their home furnaces, their forced air systems, will not work without electricity. So even though you have natural gas, you may need electricity to run that. So definitely be aware of how your system operates and what you need in order to operate it, and see if you can make it so that you can keep your systems operating even without power. Make sure that you have backup electricity, power banks, whatever, in order to keep your system running, or a generator. KW9 says, I went to Kroger last night here in Cincinnati, and help is on the way messages from the self-checkout stations is constant. So, like you get into some sort of problem, you try to delete something or whatever, and it's like, help is coming. Yeah. They've stopped hiring cashiers and personnel to handle the help station. It must be cheaper to deal with the theft and losses than to pay workers. The fully staffed checkout lanes all lacked baggers, with most shoppers who had people with them were bagging everything themselves. Now, I have heard, we are hearing out there that apparently the self-checkout stations are going to actually start disappearing in favor of more people checking you out. Apparently, they've gotten enough of a backlash from that some of the companies are starting to shift around, and they may be actually taking those self-checkout lines out in the near future. But that will take a while for it to kind of come down through the system. Northern says, in Milwaukee, I am having delays in several of my prescription medications. Some are heart medications, and one is a breathing inhaler. Fortunately, I have a couple extra inhalers thanks to your warnings. Not as much heart meds, though. And that's what I'm hearing from a lot of you guys out there, that there's serious issues with these medications. Jeed says, I'm a former law enforcement officer and was trained to simply be a good witness when off duty. This is a comment from a few days ago about if you're a store employee, don't chase people out into the parking lot. Don't do anything like that, because that's a good way to get hurt or even killed. But they say it is not smart to intervene if no one is being physically harmed. I carried a 5-shot boomstick as my CCW, and you don't necessarily know the number of suspects involved or what they're carrying. So just stay calm and mentally prepare good information about the suspects and relay that to the police after the fact. So just some advice out there. Cherry says, I ordered prednisone from a Canadian pharmacy and it is coming from India. They are now showing 22 days in transit with no mention of when it will come. The pharmacies may be in the same boat, no pun intended. So are they putting these on ships, and are these ships having to be diverted around the coast of Africa, so to speak? Because if they're coming from India, they might be going through the Suez Canal, and they might not be able to do that. They may have it to be diverted. We got issues out there. Are these medications and stuff like that being flown? Why are we having such big disruptions out there? Those are serious questions. And, of course, crickets from the U.S. government. The FDA says that we have 125 medications in the database that are in shortage, but no one's addressing anything. I mean, is the cavalry coming? I'm not hearing about it. Sherry says, Palm Beach County, Florida, Aldi. Was able to buy some produce till I noticed this sign that they now posted. Coated with food-grade vegetable, beeswax, petroleum-based, and or shellac-based wax or resin to maintain freshness. I don't mind the beeswax, but I really don't want to ingest petroleum or shellac. So be aware of what is going on your food and where you're getting your food from. Apparently coming from Aldi. So definitely pay attention to what you're seeing sign-wise out there, and if you get more information out there. If you have information, please do let us know through an update, or if you need to email me directly at poplarpreparedness@gmail.com. Let me know if you need me to withhold your name or anything like that. I always do cut everyone's names down so that it keeps it nice and anonymous. But thanks so much for watching. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up here. If you want to get some more information from Genesis Gold Group about what you can do with your retirement account, there's a link right here. Fill that out and they'll send you some information packet and a way to contact them, and they'll answer your questions. Thanks so much for watching. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report, out.